Okay, so, okay, do I look good? Is everything good? Camera good? Okay, I think so. Anyway, I'm doing a quick vlog for y'all. Y'all aren't gonna have to look at my face too long. This is an airtight, air-cooled, sealed server rack. I was gonna go ahead and do a vlog on for y'all, especially a lot of you guys that are miners out there that have problem keeping your room in somewhat of a normal temperature so you're not like draining sweat all over your desk. I know I've been through the situation before. Once you get a server rack in your apartment or your house and you get a few thousand watts going through it, uh, y'all definitely know about the heat problem and your AC blowing up and all that other great stuff. So, this is something I put together personally for me to solve my issue for doing some mining at the house. I always work on servers, I host websites for people, uh, and I'm in the process of trying to deploy my YouTube channel and other stuff, and this is kind of the foundation for it. So anyway, let me get started with this and show you all how this works. So I got this rack from my old boss. His name's David. He runs a company called AOK Computer Recycling. He donated this to me. So I went in here and I brought it upstairs and I packed it full of my favorites, some of my favorite servers, which are the R720 XDs and some drive arrays. I was planning on doing some Shia mining. I haven't really got started on it because the price fell so much, it hasn't been profitable. But I got a T7610 down there doing some mining, and sometimes my server gets a pretty decent amount of load, and same with my switches up there. Um, so what the problem I have is it literally get over 100 degrees in my room. No one really wanted to be in here for long. So I decided, you know what? How can I solve this issue? So I was doing some research and I was like, you know what? I can air seal the rack. So for you guys that are mining and you're having an issue with this, a server rack is a great way to contain and move the heat. So what I did here was I went ahead and I put RX insulation and foil over it, and I taped the side, and then I sealed it with some little rubber seals that seal when you close the rack. This way no air is coming out. Um, there's foil on the inside. There's literally foil on just about every cubic square inch inside the rack. And then the air is forced to go through this hole right here. So I got two AC infinity vents that move at about 800 CFM each. So what they do is they suck the air in here and they shoot it up into the attic. Now, not surprisingly, I'll need to keep it on one, and it keeps everything perfectly cool, and that foil contains the heat, so my apartment is no longer being infected by, an insane amount of heat where you can barely breathe in here. Although I did go a little overkill on the AC Infinities, I didn't know they were going to be pulling quite so much air. In fact, what's pretty funny about this is if I crank this up to 10, it's about 1,600 cubic feet of air per minute, which is plenty more than this entire room in about 60 seconds. So you can see, you can hear those vent fans kicking up. And it moves so much air into the attic that you can put your hand near the light socket and there's air pumping out of this light socket in just about every other orifice in this apartment. So we don't want to do that because we don't want to piss the neighbors off at all or get kicked out of my apartment. So I'm going to turn this down here. Okay, so like I said, this is kind of the foundation for my Fix-It PC. I'm trying to start a YouTube tech channel, do tutorial-based videos. This is an R720 XD here, which is filled with 3 terabyte drives, which I got donated from my boss at work. They're all running on a BTRFS RAID array. That up there is a 1 gigabit Ethernet PoE switch with 4 10 gigabit SFP fiber ports. Well, SFP ports using fiber. As you can see, I got the fiber optic cables right there. They just give you a little bit better latency. The ping is about going from this network to the fiber hub down the street. And actually, Google, the ping's only about 2. So it's really, the network is, really great. Uh, there is no router. My server is my router. So this is a Gentoo based installation here, and it's running ISC DHCP server. So the ONT goes right back to the server, and this server is connected via fiber to this switch, and then my main rig is connected to fiber, and then drive wiper here that me and another developer do work on. It's got that 10 gigabit fiber, that way I can do the drive backups quickly to the server. So yeah, anyways, I was just showing off the setup, see what you guys think about it. It's kind of the foundation for what I'm trying to start on YouTube and other stuff. I hope to host websites for people, and you know, it works really good for containing heat. So if any of you guys are into mining, uh, and you got some money to blow, and you don't want to do it like, you know, using the mining boards, and you want to contain the heat better, uh, you can get some DL580G8s, which have a ton of PCI Express slots, and they have a really great cooling system on them. And you can throw them in a rack and seal up a rack yourself and do it just like this. It's not hard. Just about every rack has openings at the top, and you can rig it, maybe if you got to cut a hole in the bottom, and you can direct the airflow. So yeah, all these panels are here, so when I close this, the air is pretty much just sucking through this hole right here, and then mostly, I'd say, evenly getting dispersed across the equipment and being forced in through the equipment. So I've checked my temperatures. I'm running, pretty good. There's a temperature sensor in there. Right now it's at about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. That is actually inaccurate because the temperature sensor is sitting right behind a power supply, so it's actually a lot cooler in there than that. It's probably right at ambient temperature, maybe probably 2 degrees higher because there's so much airflow going through there. So I virtually have no problem with cooling anything. I can push everything at max settings. I don't have to worry about fighting the AC and making my electric bill skyrocket anymore, although my electric bill is a little high. So yeah, so for you guys that need any ideas uh, for containing the heat wherever you live, this is a great method. Just be aware that if you're not pulling air, if you don't have another uh, if you don't have another inlet going to outside and you're just pulling the air from the room, it is going to suck air through the cracks and stuff from outside and bring it in. So it's going to fight, your AC or whatever a little bit because of the pressure, or because not the pressure, but the vacuum you're creating in your living quarters. So the best way to do it would actually be to like connect another vent and drill a hole and have it pulling air from outside. So, this is a good setup. It's not the best way to do it, but of course I live in an apartment, so I kind of got to be discreet about this. They wouldn't kick me out for this anyway. They'd probably just, take away my deposit. So, anyway, like and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about the rack, how I set it up here, and if you think it's a good idea to contain the heat for your mining setup. Yeah, this camera cannot focus on that black metal for some reason. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Let's see if I look like a complete idiot.